Hi, everybody, and welcome to Hope with Lauren Kelley, a show where we encourage one another to find the hope in every single day. And I'm so excited to have my friend here, Darren Nefsey, who is the creator and executive producer of the Emmy Award-winning show Star versus the Forces of Evil on Disney XD. And I'm so excited to have you on, not only because you're a friend of mine and you used to work with my husband, but also because you're one of the very few creators of an animated television show in the industry. Or female creators. So I'm really excited to be able to talk to you today.
Oh, thank you so much. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
I know, and I feel so lucky I've gotten to know you over the past few years, and I think we're very similar because you like to dress vintage and love antique things like I do. And I grew up loving Sailor Moon, which I know Star is very inspired by that. So when we met, I felt like we were kindred spirits, and so I felt really lucky that I got to know you, and now you get to be here. So this is just like double excited today.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks so much again for having me on. And yeah, it's been, making Star has definitely been quite the experience.
Yeah.
You know, I was I first pitched it in 2007 when I was a college student, and I have just finished running the show. It actually finished in April, and I was running the show for 6 years.
Yeah.
But of course before that there was the process of pitching it and making a pilot and all this stuff. So it was a very long process, and it feels I feel like sad that it's done, but I'm also sort of excited to see what's next.
Yeah, like the chapter is done, but the book isn't finished, so it's exciting. Yeah. But that's a very long process, because I think you guys started production in 2013.
Yeah.
And because that's when Aaron joined the production. He joined from the get-go. My husband, Aaron, was on the show.
Yeah.
And eventually he ended up becoming kind of a co-runner in a way of the show, and helped form it with his good buddy Dominic. And
I have to say, it's probably one of my favorite things that Aaron and Dominic got to meet on the show and
Yes.
become such good friends.
I know, they had a bromance, and I'm so glad it was through that.
I know, it was so lovely. And, it makes... Gosh, I really miss Aaron. I really miss like getting to see Aaron and Dominic and all of my other good friends on the show every day. That's definitely been one of the things I really miss the most about it.
I know. I just feel like the chemistry was so good, and we've talked a lot, and I think most artists can agree, especially artists who collaborate, that when you find the right group of people, you can really make some incredible things, and you want to keep working with them. And you see that in the industry all the time, where actors or directors work consistently with a certain cast or with certain people, and I think that the relationships you guys built on that show will continue on. You'll work together again.
I really hope so. I mean, that would just be amazing. Because having like a real creative partnership with, because my show, I was so lucky. I had really incredible people working on my show. In an animated show, a lot of people don't know this, but I had 56 people working on the show full time with me at Disney. And then of course we had 2 animation teams in Korea, that were probably about 50 people each. So that's a lot of people.
Yes.
They're all working together and really care about one singular project, and
it's a lot for one person to be at the head of it.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a team, like you said.
But there really is a certain magic that happens where it's like, it starts as this thing that was, oh, here's my little idea and I'm going to pitch it. And then it's like you start to find those people that really get it and connect to it and can add to it. And then the thing becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And it becomes this like really beautiful thing that you could never
have imagined. Yeah,
or like done on your own. You know, I mean, any director's name that you see, anybody that you see, you really have to look at that whole end credits to really understand who put what into a movie or a show. It's a big undertaking, and I think teamwork is the key to any of it.
And I think we definitely saw like how a good collaboration can create something so amazing, because I think the show has just really resonated with a lot of people. I know you can watch the show on Hulu, so find it on Hulu. Star versus the Forces of Evil, super fun. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the show and about kind of how you came up with the idea and how it grew to be what it is today?
Yeah, definitely. So Star vs. Force of Evil is about a magical princess named Star Butterfly, and she has this magic wand, which is, her birthright passed down from mother to daughter through the generations. But she's a little bad at it. Well, maybe not bad. She's creative with it, more creative than the other queens. She gets herself into a lot of trouble, and she ultimately gets sent to Earth as a foreign exchange student. The idea being that she can learn her magic powers and not blow up the castle. Maybe they care about Earth a little less, I'm not sure. But she ends up making best friends with Marco Diaz, who she lives with as a foreign exchange student, and then they go on all kinds of crazy adventures, and each season is super different. As the show goes on, we send them to other dimensions. They live on Muni for a while. They come back to Earth. It really becomes big and epic, and we get to introduce big villains, and it was so much fun. The whole process was so much fun, and so I first came up with it in 2007 when I was, I think, the summer between my sophomore and junior year of college, and I came up with it because, actually, to start way back, I always wanted to do animation. I wanted to do animation since I was like a little kid. It was like 100% what I wanted to do. I loved, Sailor Moon, and even earlier than that, some stuff like Rocko's Modern Life.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of.
Which, did you see the movie on Netflix yet? I haven't watched it yet. But.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm so excited.
Me too.
I've heard great things.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I was such a fan of that stuff. So I was always telling everybody since the 4th grade, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And, and I was lucky enough to get into Cal Arts to do animation. And so then when I was a student at Cal Arts, that school is really great because you have a lot of people that are working in the industry.
Yes.
Los Angeles is very close to Valencia.
Connections, networking.
So a lot of the teachers and stuff, would be working at the studios, or even, people you were friends with a couple years before. So in my case, I had friends that I had been at school with, but were now working at Cartoon Network, and they told me about this opportunity to pitch an idea to Cartoon Network. They were doing a bunch of shorts called Cartoon Institute at the time.
I remember that.
Regular show came out of that.
Yeah.
So I came up with Star, like a really early version of it, and pitched it to them. And ultimately they didn't continue with it, but it kind of got like the pitching thing going in me.
Yes.
So I had it at a couple different studios, ultimately brought it to Disney, and then started the big long Disney process. Probably about 2012 I pitched it to them, and I have to say it's been awesome. The last 6 years of my life have gone by very fast.
Yes.
It's been very busy, but it's been very cool.
So what was it like when you go to Disney, which, especially as somebody who's wanted to be in animation since you were in 4th grade, like Disney is the name that you always kind of have in your head. What was that like when you got the call that they wanted what you were doing and that they wanted to develop it?
Oh, it was so exciting. Yeah, it was really, really cool. I'd been through the process a couple of times, so I don't, at other studios, so I don't think I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen. It's like, I know the odds, you know? So kind of how that works is, all these networks take a number of pitches every single year. And then, I don't really know what the numbers are, but let's just say, maybe they get 100 pitches a year or something.
Yeah.
Well, then they're probably only going to pick like 3 or 4 of those to go into development. And then maybe one of those will be a show.
Yes.
So it's sort of this process of elimination thing.
So that one call wasn't always like the thing that said, oh yes, they want it, because it still goes down the pipeline.
It still has to go to the pipeline. There's still a long process. So, but incredibly exciting. And I've always been a huge Disney fan, so that was really awesome to be at that studio. And
how old were you when they accepted it? Because you were fairly young, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Like, how old am I now? And I could count back.
I think when I brought it to Disney and it was like, we're in development, I think I was 23. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
For a 23-year-old kind of fresh out of college. And you had a few jobs in the industry, but this was kind of your first real big.
Yeah, no, this was huge. Yeah, I had worked on Mad, which is a really fun show that played on Cartoon Network but was done through Warner Brothers. And I had worked on Robot and Monster. And then actually I got a chance to work on Wander Over Yonder with Craig McCracken, which is a really fantastic show. Yeah, but I kind of worked on that after I did the pilot, in between them saying, okay, we're going to make it a show, because they do a lot of testing. And even after you've done a pilot, I think I had to wait another 6 months,
Yeah.
So everything
so you needed a paycheck still.
Yeah, exactly. I needed a job. So yeah, everything is fairly slow. But no, I feel very lucky. I mean, this was definitely like my dream.
Yeah.
Since I was a little kid, and
it got to be something that was like your taste too, like something that I think resonated with little Darren, you know, where it's like, oh, it's kind of inspired by Sailor Moon, and she's kind of fun, and she dresses kind of like you, and has a very similar personality, and I think that's really unique that you've had the opportunity to be able to tell a story that's so you know, and have it be so well liked by a lot of people. I think that's really special.
I was really happy, and you know, and it's I'm really excited to see what happens in the industry now, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the animation world more, but I think kind of in all of entertainment, it's like such a cool time because, you know, so when I had gone in and when Star got picked up, I was only the second creator for a Disney show. Kind of. There's
was a female?
Yeah, it was a female. Yeah. So I think I was the second female at Disney at the time. Cartoon Network had their first female showrunner, Rebecca Sugar. You know, I'm not even sure. I mean, I think Nickelodeon, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So, or it had been a while at the time. So it was pretty amazing to have that happen. But now there's a ton of female showrunners and there's a ton of female directors, and it's like women are getting much more writing opportunities, and like I have seen things change so quickly. Yeah, like when I was doing it, I could name 2 other women running a show
from the beginning.
At the beginning, and now it's like I'm gonna have to take a minute, but I think I could probably name 10 or 12. Or, you know, it's like night and day. Yeah,
and it's exciting to see, and it's offering different voices in a kind of saturated market, and I think that's why so many people resonated with what you put out there, because she was a lot like all these girls that are watching it. And I also think the thing that's special about the show is that it just comes from a really genuine place. And I know that was something that mattered to both you and my husband, Aaron, and to Dominic, was telling authentic stories that like say something. And not a lot of shows do that. A lot of shows just want to entertain, or they just want to make money because that's what you can do. And this just came from a real place of authenticity, and I just love that about the show. Is that something you kind of wanted to do from the beginning? Yeah, definitely. You know, I was really happy that I got to make a show with a female lead where she got to be really flawed and make a lot of mistakes. Yes. You know, Star is definitely not a goody-goody, super perfect princess. She gets into all kinds of trouble. And she's always super herself, and that was really important to me because she is like kind of dorky and kind of weird and can be kind of crazy, but she's also like so much fun and you know, her friendship with Marco is like so delightful. And I really like too, you know, with Marco, I got to do a character who's a male character who is you know, he's more safe, he's more cautious, he's, you know, he's not like a fuddy-duddy or anything, but he definitely is a character who likes to plan things and likes to organize and is sort of the opposite of Star in that way. And he's sensitive and he's sweet. And I think that a lot of I've heard from so many, you know, boys, you know, and men and teens that are like, oh, I love that. Like, I feel like that guy. Yeah. And I never see that guy in a cartoon. So, so if you do, it's like the nerdy guy that like nobody likes, you know, and it's nice to see somebody like that who is just, you know, a more sensitive person but can still get the job done, or who can still be a really good friend or a good person. And that's what the real world is, not like some caricature of a person. Yeah, you know, I didn't want to have the, you know, I feel like some cartoons, you get a lot of like, woo, I love skateboarding, and, you know, you kind of get the... Yes. Yeah, so I was really glad that Marco got to be sensitive and Star got to be, I mean, they're both flawed and they're both really lovely. But yeah, it's been really cool to see how many... oh God, and this makes me feel old. This is kind of amazing. So now when I do fan events, like in the 4th season I was doing fan events, I would get these like girls in high school that'd be like, oh my God, I grew up on your show. I'd be like, what? Like 6 years if you think about it in high school. Yeah. Well, exactly. That would have been they started in grade school and now they're like in high school. Yeah. And that is totally your whole life when you're that age. Yeah. So, I grew up on your show. Yeah, I've had so many people tell me that. It's crazy, but I totally get it. Yeah. Like, absolutely. I never thought I would feel old in my 30s, but I really do feel old sometimes. And I think it's moments like that where you can say, 20 years ago I did this thing, and you're like, I can say that and it actually is real.
Yeah, I know. And you still have good memories of all this stuff. I mean, I think it's super cool.
It is, yeah.
But it's been awesome. You know, a lot of these girls have said how much it was amazing to see a show that had somebody like them, you know,
Yes.
or somebody they could really connect to, and just like, I don't know. I mean, I love doing stuff for children for that reason too, I think, because I think you really, like what you were saying, I think that you really have an opportunity to help somebody and make them I don't know, like maybe hopefully affect them in a way that's really positive.
Yes.
You know, I think you have that ability more than an adult, because as an adult, right, well, I could watch 20 shows this year, and
Yes.
you know, maybe I'll remember a few things or whatever. But I think as a kid, a show that you love, like that could stick with you forever.
Yes, it becomes a part of you, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, that's a very unique position, and I think our society kind of needs more of those positive, like making kids feel like they're not alone messages. And I think that's part of what I try to do on this show too, is just saying, look, we're kind of all in this thing, and we've got to stick together. And that's how Hazel lived her life. You know, she said we have to stick together, not stick apart. And I think that especially my journey through that time with Hazel coincided exactly with the amount of time that Erin was on the show with you guys. It just kind of it was like full circle, because it was going, yeah, we were all in this together, and like you guys all supported our family during the entire 5 years of treatment and after her passing, and then like seeing the stories that were being put out and how satisfied Erin was with being able to tell something that was genuine, you know, I think just really mattered at a time you needed it so badly. And so I just feel like we take those moments in life where we go, okay, we're connecting with people, we're together, we're helping one another, we're telling stories that can help somebody. It's like, oh yeah, this is the stuff. Like, this is the stuff that life is made of, and this is the stuff that matters, and there needs to be more of this stuff, you know. So I think that's partly why I was so excited to have you on, because you kind of speak my language. So, and again, you guys got to watch it, because it's just so charming, and you can watch it with the kids. Like, my kids love the show, but it's also really good adult viewing experience because it is so genuine, and you go, oh my gosh, like connecting people. It's so wonderful. And you just feel so good when you watch it, and your fan base too. It seems like you have such a strong, genuine fan base. Like, what's that been like, being able to just kind of connect with people all over the world?
Oh, it's been really cool. I mean, that's another sort of, I don't know, new era that we're in, right? Where fans can, you know, tweet something at you or message you, you know, online in certain ways. And I don't know. I mean, I've tried to navigate it. I think all of us in this new world, you know, especially because I, you know, started out 6 years ago. I think there was even less of a, you know, but I've been trying to navigate it. It's hard because I think that you can't. You have to be careful, I think, not to get too close sometimes.
Yes.
You know, because I think that there's hazards in that. But I have really, really enjoyed, especially getting to connect with like some certain like very special fans that, you know, will make like incredible costumes or do all this like amazing fan art, and really, I think, sort of add to the universe of the show, because a lot of people do fan fiction or, you know, like their own, you know, OCs, like their own original character for the show that'll like fit into the world. And like that stuff just makes me so happy, because I could totally have seen, like, you know, if the internet was around like that when I was in, you know, middle school, like I would have been all over that, you know, like, and I think that a lot of, oh my God, like this is amazing. I've had a lot of girls tell me that they've met all their friends through the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, because I think they get on there and they're like, oh, here's my OC and here's my OC, and then they get to connect, and it's like such a, like a beautiful, amazing.
And then they go to some fan event and it's like, oh, you're here. And that's so cool. Yeah, that's so cool.
The actor who plays Marco, Adam MacArthur, he is like super awesome with the fans, and he's been doing this fan event at Comic-Con every year.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, the Boba meetup, and that's like really lovely, because oh my God, we had some people that flew out just for the Boba meetup.
Oh my gosh.
You know, or like we had some people drive in from Mexico. Yeah. We had
it
some
matters
people,
to people.
Like,
that's awesome.
It's like such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. And you know, and I'm glad that it's helped some girls too, because I was totally like oh God, when I was like, in grade school, middle school, high school, I had a really hard time. You know?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your life growing up.
Yeah, I had a hard time. I was always kind of a weird art kid, and I think I've figured out how to be much more social and acceptable now somehow, whatever that means, or maybe I've just accepted being myself, or who knows.
I think that's the key. Yes.
but as a kid, I don't know. I didn't have a ton of friends. I just felt really uncomfortable with myself a lot. I definitely, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard being a kid, Yeah. I think it's just tough because people want to put everybody in a group and put a label on everybody. And I think one of the kind of amazing things about being an adult is you can kind of break free of that.
Yeah.
And there's, I don't know, just so many amazing people that you'll end up meeting that are more like you, or, like, I don't know, you have more options, but as a kid, you're so stuck. So yeah, I was having a really tough time, and I actually even left high school early because I was getting, I don't know, I had a group of friends, and then they decided they didn't want to be my friend anymore, and I had nobody. Like, I was just really sad, like really depressed, and so I, and my parents are really awesome and let me test out of high school, because you can do that.
Yeah.
Guess what, everyone? You can test out of high school. You're having
gotta work hard, but you gotta do it.
Yeah, well, actually, it wasn't that hard. The test was not that hard. But I had a plan with it. So I left a year early. I went to community college for 2 years, and I have friends still to this day that I met in those community college classes, because that was like night and day.
Yeah, it was the first time where you could be yourself and not feel judged for it.
Yeah, and also I even think just picking your own classes,
Yes.
Like I don't know, my grades were never that great, in high school and middle school and stuff. But I think I just, I don't know, you don't have any control over what you're learning, and a lot of it, I think, at least at my high school, was not that interesting.
Yeah.
But in community college, I could, and I took everything. I was taking, psychology and sociology and, all these things. I did a debate class, all this stuff that was really interesting to me, and I got like full A's on everything. I actually did way more courses than I needed when I transferred to Cal Arts.
Yeah, you just enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I just loved it. I was having like the best time.
And you found your people too, because like you go to Cal Arts and you're like, oh yeah, you're weirdos like me.
Oh my God, yeah, Cal Arts was really cool.
Yeah,
it was I just remember, kind of meeting my class, and we're all staying in the dorms, and it's like, I don't know, for whatever weird reason, everybody was looking at each other's sketchbooks, but I was just like, oh, this is cool.
Of course, that's how you get to know a person. If they're an artist, you look at their sketchbook.
You look at their sketchbook, and we're all like swapping sketchbooks, and
that's
I don't
awesome.
know, I definitely felt like, okay, these are my people.
Yeah. That should be like an artist party idea, where like you swap sketchbooks and you can like look through things and then like draw in somebody else's. And I feel like, again, that's one of the like easiest ways to truly get to know an artist, because that's like their soul right there.
They might not want to share it though.
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, it might be too vulnerable for people. But I think if you're open to it, I think that's a really good exercise for artists to be like, all right, here's me. Take a look.
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to know a little bit more about kind of what inspired you to kind of come up with the idea of STAR. Did it come out of that experience in high school? Like, you were kind of like this outcast in your mind, and you didn't quite fit in any box, and STAR doesn't really fit in any box. She's just unapologetically herself, but she's so likable, and people are drawn to her in the show. Is that kind of where that stemmed from, or?
Yeah, definitely. And I've talked about this before, but there was an earlier version of STAR. The show that I first pitched was quite a bit different than the show that I ended up making at Disney. And that's common. I mean, a lot of time in development processes, things change. And even because STAR took such a long time from when I first pitched it to it getting made as a show, I think the times changed in animation a lot, so there were more roads open. When I first pitched STAR, it was like pre-Adventure Time being on TV even. So there wasn't... there was kind of shows about kids in school, and there wasn't a lot of things with like big magic worlds at the time. And, and I wanted to make something that maybe pushed those limits, but I wanted to pitch something that could actually get made. Yeah. Because you do kind of have to think about that.
Yeah.
So,
like, I want a magical world, but for you, I'll set it in a school.
Yeah. So it was cool. But, I wanted to do that too. So the original version, she was younger. She was still a star butterfly. She still pretty much looked the same with the heart cheeks and everything.
Yeah.
But she was a fourth grader who was super weird and just wanted to be a Sailor Moon-like character so bad that she really believed that she was one.
Yeah.
And she really would save the day and would believe she had magic powers, but they were real, you know, and she would like talk to her cat. She was convinced her cat could talk to her.
Yeah.
Flying Princess
like
Pony.
Luna.
Yeah, like Luna. Flying Princess Ponyhead was in it. There's a character in Star named Flying Princess Ponyhead who's a floating unicorn head, and she's very fun, very sassy.
Yes, she is. Voiced by Jennifer Slate, right?
Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate. Yeah, she's so good.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Good.
She's amazing.
And Star's voiced by Eden. What's her last name?
Cher.
Eden, yes, and she's on the middle.
Yes,
and she's so fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing. I got so lucky with the cast.
Yeah,
too.
you did.
I mean, just all the way through, everybody was so great. Alan Tudyk's one of the villains. Right. We had Michael C. Hall as a villain. I mean,
that was Aaron's like wish was to get him on as a villain, and the fact that you guys got him was so awesome, and he did such a good job in that role.
He really did. Yeah.
So anyway, so she was sitting there pretending she had magic powers in the original idea.
Yeah, she really believed in all her heart that she had magic powers, but she really was, you know, sort of this fourth grader that didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
But she would always save the day and was really confident in herself anyway. So I think that did really speak to me, you know, as a you know, back to my childhood. I mean, she would do stuff in the original one like throw glitter in a bully's face and say a magic spell, and in her mind it's doing all this stuff, but it really is stopping him because he's got glitter in his eyes, you know. So I you know,
that's still really charming. I like that.
Yeah, it was fun. Like that version would have been fun too, but I love the one that we made, you know. And that ultimately happened when I brought it to Disney. They wanted me to age it up, and you know, now we're in an age of, you know, really fantastical shows, I think, being more the trend. And I think that they wanted something with a, you know, more magic. And, you know, so that's when I came up with, okay, so now she's in high school and she's a foreign exchange student. So that's why she's on Earth, but she, you know, her magic powers are actually real, you know, but she was essentially the same character.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And do you think that part of that, like, I don't know, just came out from something deep within yourself, or do you think that it was more just kind of a product of collaboration with all the different people you worked with to get it to where it was?
I mean, definitely the collaboration helps, but I do think that, you know, ultimately, you know, that version, like that much of it was totally me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Then when it's like I came to doing stuff episodically, that's where, you know, everybody comes in and it's this big collaboration. But that idea, that was actually kind of a funny story because I was actually in development at Disney for a while with the first version, and then it was like, cool. You graduated to getting to make a pilot.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, awesome. Because that's, you know, that's a huge step. A fully animated pilot. I mean, that's really, you know, that's really big.
Which people don't know can take like 9 months.
Yeah, it can take a very long time
to produce.
Yeah, it's a baby.
Yeah.
So
that's so true. I like that.
So it's like, okay, you get to make a pilot. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And they're like, and you get to meet. So it's also like with these executives, you know, you're always pitching. You start with a pitch to the person. I'm trying to think of like the right way to say it, but it's like they're basically, you know, the junior executive. They're the lowest ranking. You know, if this is a video game, you got your first boss.
Yeah.
And then if they like it, they'll bring you in it to the person above them. Yeah. And then the person above them. So I had not pitched to the guy who was you know, actually in charge of all the television animation at that point. But I was told, okay, you get to make a pilot. You know, you've graduated these levels. You haven't met him yet, but you've graduated these levels. You're going to make a pilot. Or maybe this wasn't even a pilot yet. This might have just been you're officially in development, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's all these things, but it might have been just you're officially in development. So you're going to meet this guy now. And I was like, okay, am I pitching him the project? They're like, no, he knows about it. He really likes it. He's really excited about it. So I was like, awesome. And then I go in for that meeting, and the more junior executive I was working with, he comes in like 5 minutes before the meeting. You know, I'm there early, and he's like, hey, just so you know, he loves it. He loves the idea, but you know, we were all kind of thinking like, what if her magic powers are real, and what if she's older? And I was like,
5 minutes before.
Okay, and that's like a huge change.
Yeah.
So then he comes in and he goes, hey, so what's this about? Pitch it to me. So I was like, oh my God.
Well, obviously thinking on your feet worked, because then it kept moving forward.
It kept moving forward. Well, that went disastrous.
Oh,
so it's like I kind of like fumbled and, didn't really know what to say about it. And then, the end of that meeting was basically him kind of going, yeah, so your designs are really cool. So, like keep working on it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So that week I went home and I just like completely redid it. And then, and yeah, you see, it was just all the stuff like, okay, Ponyhead is real. She's not a figment of her imagination. And there's this magical land called Muni. And Marco was a character in the previous one, but he was sort of a rival. So then it was like, okay, he's going to be the exchange student in the house, and all those, or she's an exchange student, she lives with him, and all the sort of changes really happened that week. And then that was the idea that
you went back with.
Yeah, that I went back with, and I pitched, and they loved it, and then it, then the process started to really make it a show and do the pilot and all that stuff.
Well, how inspiring for like a lot of both boys and girls who are kind of on the outskirts of what's that normal box, right? And they are artistic and they want to do something like that. Gives them a lot of hope, I think, because you didn't go the typical path. Like you tested out early of high school and you followed your passions, and then this is kind of what happened. And I think that's a really encouraging message for kids to see. And I think something that I find so inspiring is that like you're really humble about it, and you're really like just grateful, and I think a lot of times people who create in this industry can end up getting a bit of an ego about it because they know they're talented and stuff, and yes, like they are, but I think there is this thing about you that's so special and unique that you can just be humble and say, yeah, like I was really lucky. I got picked like at 23 years old, but then I got to make this really awesome show, and I felt really good about it, and I had this awesome team, and I don't know, I just don't hear that often, and I appreciate it coming from another woman,
Well, thank you. That's really nice. No, and and I do really appreciate. I mean, God, all the people that then put themselves into the show, like your husband Aaron, who could just, put parts then of his childhood, and then again the whole thing grows and grows, and it's like I'm just so grateful that it all came together.
Yeah, it was bits and pieces of so many people, and I think that's also why it resonated so much. And I think the really cool thing too to like learn from your circumstance is like if you like work really, really hard and you're persistent, I think then it can pay off in tremendous ways. And I think because you didn't give up when they said no at Cartoon Network. You didn't give up when the guy was like, I like the designs, You could have said, okay, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. But you didn't.
Oh, I think that's really important. I tell people that all the time because, of course, I get a lot of...
what advice would you give?
I have a lot of, like, younger people that are like, oh, I really want to do that. Like, I would love to make a show. I'd love to work in animation, all that stuff. And, and what is really cool, for any people that have, kids that might want to get into the stuff, there are a lot of jobs in it. There really, truly are. It's definitely an art career that you can totally live off of. And I mean, like I said, I had a team of 56 people that were all doing different jobs. And we're talking about things like background painters, layout artists, character designers, storyboard artists, editors. There's all these jobs that you can do. And you think about every animated show has a team like that. So it's like, those are a lot of positions to fill. So I think for people that want to do it, the really important thing is, draw all the time.
Yes.
You really especially for those art jobs, you really need to
pencil
mileage. And nobody's good at first. Nobody can draw well at first. It's from doing, thousands and thousands of hours of it, So I think that the thing that I do worry about with some of the kids right now is that it's so easy to go on Tumblr or something and, oh, I'm 12 and I really want to work in animation and I'm going to go on Tumblr. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's other 12-year-olds that are drawing beyond what I can do, what I mean? Because it's like now you can see what everybody's doing all over the world, but it's like I think people just need to not get caught up with that. Just you focus on yourself and make sure you're not just drawing cartoons. You got to be drawing from life. I did figure drawing in high school. I probably should have started even earlier, draw your pets, draw your house, draw whatever you can, and draw every single day, and you'll find that that every day you get just a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, and that's kind of what it takes. And then as far as stuff like storyboarding and writing and stuff, it's like, hey, come up with your own worlds and characters. And, and I think, a lot of people start by doing fan fiction or fan stories and characters. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful place to start and a wonderful place to get comfortable with writing. You already have a world for you and you can kind of play within that. That's awesome. But I would also encourage to start trying to come up with your own worlds and your own characters and stories and ideas eventually.
Were you kind of doodling a star in high school or in college, or was this kind of like something that came up outside of college?
Well, I came up with Star when I was in college. Yeah. But when I was younger, I was definitely drawing a lot of Sailor Moon and, and characters like that. So I think that it's a very good place to start, But and definitely persistence. A lot of people give up. Yeah.
Did you like drawing from a very young age?
Yeah, it's like all I wanted to do.
Yeah. You said, 4th grade, you were like, this is it.
Yeah. No, it's all I wanted to do. I have like this really hilarious, they had you do a bookmark where and this was in like 2nd grade or maybe 4th grade, but it was like a bookmark and you take your name and you write something on each letter of your name. And every single one was like art. It was like drawing, art, whatever, really good at drawing. Like it was like all these things. It was like the only thing I identified with myself. It was so funny. And then I think for the end, because Darren ends with an N, I wrote not very good at anything else.
Oh, I love that.
It's so funny.
Do you still have that?
Yeah, I still have that.
Have you ever posted a picture of it?
No, I don't know if I posted. I
absolutely
should.
should. That would be so great. I think people would really resonate with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've definitely I've done some talks at colleges and stuff, and I think I've shown that in a slideshow because it's funny, and it's funny of course now. I think I've been drawing so much. I think I enjoy a lot of other things, too now.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're like, I can actually fill this out differently now.
I really like kind of nature and animals and a lot of stuff. But when I was a kid,
there's your A and your N.
Yeah, there you go. But as a kid, I was just all about drawing, But I think that was good. I do feel really, really lucky that I had something that I wanted to do when I was young and that I really got to focus on it. Yeah. And, my parents were supportive. It's like I had a lot of, it was just, it was good. I had a vision.
Yeah. And you had fortunate circumstances too. You had supportive parents. You had the ability to go to the art school and pay for that. And, I think you had a lot of things working in your favor, which is really special. And
it's really good. Well, and and this is something people should know too, because Cal Art's very expensive. I had great scholarships. Yeah. I don't even think I had to pay for the 4th year. I didn't have to pay for a lot of the 3rd year. I think that, it seems, and I have people that get worried about that, they're like, how am I supposed to pay for it? Which is a good question. Yes. But, I think that it's worth exploring those options for things like scholarships because they're out there and, a lot of those schools, do try to find ways to get students that they're interested in to go there, especially things like an art school where it's more portfolio based. Yeah. They have this whole portfolio ranking thing, and I think I was pretty high up, so awesome. That was really helpful to help, get stuff in.
Did you find that growing up, I kind of want to switch gears a little bit, that because I know for me, most artists in any capacity, while I can't draw, I express myself artistically in different ways. I found that was the thing that kind of allowed me to be present and to escape the things I didn't want to deal with if I needed to escape, and it was something that grounded me. Did you find that art was that way for you, drawing was that way for you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I definitely would have rather hid away and drawn than anything else, Yeah. Which I think was I think it was fine. I think there are definitely some things that weren't that great about it. I kind of have this memory.
You can isolate yourself, probably.
No, you really can. Yeah. I mean, the last time I was around my grandmother when she was alive, I just remember I was doing this drawing that whole day. I mean, this would have been probably 6th grade or something, and I was doing this great big drawing, and I still think I even have it somewhere, but I remember it was Thanksgiving, and that was all I was doing the whole time, and I was like, I probably should talk to my grandma a little, but that was kind of the state that I was in. It was just that's all I and I was also watching a ton of TV. I was coming home, and I was probably putting on Toonami or whatever was on then, and I probably had that on for 6 hours and was drawing all evening, so but then I don't know. In some ways, maybe it paid off. Maybe having that singular focus was good at that time. Yeah. It's sort of hard to say. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder. I should talk to some other artists about that.
Yeah, because I know for Aaron, he just always loved doing it, but I don't think he was like as singularly focused.
Yeah.
I mean, he always knew he wanted to work in animation, but it wasn't like he escaped into it all the time. So I'd be interested to hear kind of like a small poll be taken. But I think because the purpose of this show is talking about finding hope in every single day, right? So for me, there are certain things that I hold on to, like you're saying, nature, animals, things like that, that kind of help ground you. And I think probably in your circumstance, like drawing and art and expressing yourself in that way can do that for you.
Yeah.
Is that something you would encourage other people who kind of have that inclination?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you can definitely draw without it being your singular life focus or career or anything.
Yeah, your
too.
livelihood.
Yeah, your livelihood. Actually, you know what was a really, and I forget where I heard this on, but I thought that it was so interesting that apparently, so all kids like to draw, right?
Yes.
Right? I mean, I think that is a universal thing that children like to draw, and then and they like to use their imagination and do that type of thing. But I guess that that what happens is generally in most schools, there will be, okay, you got this class of 30 people, let's just say, there will be one person who's slightly better than all the other kids, right? They're just a little bit better. And then the teacher starts calling them to like, oh, you make the flag for this project, you do this, you do that. And all the other kids kind of see that, and then they don't want to do art as much, and they kind of back away from it. And then, and then the other kids kind of lose interest with it. Like, I think they get discouraged pretty easily. Yeah. And that just seems so sad, because I think that, art is such a good way to express yourself, and
yes.
and like I said, anybody could get better at it just by keeping doing it. So if something you really want to do, don't get discouraged, but also just to do it for fun too. It makes me a little sad to think about these kids, like
that lose it
because they get discouraged.
I've always wished I could draw, and maybe that's what happened to me growing up, because I've tried to draw my whole life, but I just don't have it. Whatever it is, I don't have it. And I have all these like visions and images in my head that I want to put on paper, but I cannot figure out for the life of me how to do it. So maybe I need to take some classes and just practice, and maybe it'll get better.
Yeah, but there's also, and there's creativity in so many things. I mean, people that can figure out a new meal to make every night are incredibly creative. I mean, that's an art, I agree. There's so many things I think that, you can have your creative energy on. But I do think it's good to have, because it can really bring a lot of joy, and
mental health too. I know that so many people utilize, like therapists utilize artistic expression to work through trauma, work through emotions. I know that like adult coloring books became such a huge thing because it helps ease anxiety. I know that like I had a friend who was inpatient in the psychiatric ward, and they had them drawing every day and just kind of expressing themselves that way. And I think it's just, I don't know. I was watching this documentary. It was like a PBS show called Civilization, and it's about the history of civilized humanity, and what was the first thing that showed that humans are now like more civilized and not just part of the animal kingdom. And it was art. Like art is at the very beginning of it all, because it's our version of saying, I'm here, and I'm making an impression, know, and it was just the handprint on the cave wall that said, I'm here, but they did it in such a way with different colors and like expressing mood. And I just think that that's one of the most basic parts of humanity, is expressing yourself artistically. And that's what like is at the very basis of human civilization, is going, okay, I have something to say, and I need it to come out. And it's not just going to be in hunting and gathering, like it's going to be in artistic expression. I think that's so unique, and I don't know, just makes being a human really cool.
No, it's incredibly important, and I do think it's kind of the most human thing. I love to hear you say that, and I saw that too. That special was so interesting,
wasn't it? Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, I watched it on Netflix recently, and I was like, this is like everything I love about being human. Like, and that's one of the things I love about connecting to other humans, is because we all have a different voice, and we all have something to say, and we all can just say it so differently, and it's beautiful. Yeah. It's so beautiful. So I don't know. And I think in animation, for a long time, it was kind of limited on what the voices could be. But like you said, I think even just in the last 6 years, you're seeing so much growth and so many different kinds of stories being told. It's not just the cookie cutter kind of stories, and I'm really excited for the future of animation.
Yeah, me too. Well, and just, to have a variety of voices in like so many different mediums. I mean, I think we're at like just like a really cool time with that stuff, and I do hope that it helps people too. It's awesome.
And it's kind of like with this kind of stuff, like digital media, podcasts and YouTube talk shows and videos. It's like, it's just another layer on how we can connect to one another and how we can help one another. And I think some people can abuse it and it be not as beautiful, but I think on the whole, it's just a really remarkable thing, and I feel lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that people can really connect, people that are excited about, like find a community. It is important, community really is important. And go back to like childhood, like I feel like that's what I was really lacking at the time.
Like if you had a show like Star and you were able to connect to other fans, it could have been, you found that community there.
Yeah.
Now you get to provide that for somebody, and that's really cool.
It's really exciting. And I guess just on like that topic, something that I think would be really important for anybody that's in a situation as a kid where you're feeling kind of outcasted and like you're not the cookie cutter thing and you're not fitting in, or you're whatever, not making friends. It's fine. Yeah. I always try to tell kids, like, it's fine.
Yeah, you're gonna get through it.
You're gonna get through it. Like, it's middle school, high school, all those things.
Yes.
It feels so important when you're in it, and I'm not going to say, it's not, the fact that you feel that way is not legit. That's not true. Whatever you're feeling, that's totally great. But your life is going to get so much bigger once you just get out of there.
Yeah.
And you're going to find people that are like super cool, and it's like, I hope the kids, I just really want kids to try to not get too down about it, because it's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be your lifelong friends. Yeah. Nobody in high school. You're going to find like way cooler people. So.
Yeah. I mean, there are those people that have lifelong friends they meet in high school, and I think that's awesome,
and that's great too. And there are people that love high school, and if you love it, hey, that's awesome too.
Yes.
That's hey, no big deal if you love high school, that's rad.
Yeah.
But for those people that are struggling, like it's like
there's a bigger world out there.
World.
Yeah. And I think that's an awesome message to be able to say, and I'm excited you got to come on today and tell us about that and share that with everybody, because I think it's an important one to talk about, you know. And I always say this, like, if this show helps one person, then it's worth doing. Yeah. And you got the opportunity to help like hundreds, if not thousands of people, and that's so unique and so cool and so inspiring. I mean, even I was looking up on your bio, I know most things about you, but I had forgotten about this, that you were listed on Forbes 30 under 30, which what an honor. Oh my gosh. But like you made such an impact that people are recognizing that. And I think people are starting to really respond to that kind of authenticity. And I just think that's really special. And I'm glad to know you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So I would love it if you, I don't know, it kind of puts you on the spot. I love to share at the end of every episode some words on hope. I have a quote from Emily Dickinson that I was going to share, but if there's something that has resonated with you throughout your life that kind of you'd like to share with people that kind of touches on hope, then you're more than welcome to share it. Because usually I ask beforehand, but I forgot to today.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess that I'd have to think about it. But I do think just as like a personal anecdote, I think that they're, hey, times are pretty troubled right now, but I do think it's important to have hope, and I have hope, in humanity and in the world, and that we're going to be able to figure stuff out. And I think through conversation and being open and really, we're all in this together. Yeah. We're all humans. We're all in this together, and we need to kind of love and respect each other. Yeah. And I think that there is hope in the world.
Yeah.
In that.
We're either humans or mumins.
Or mumins. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, so my quote that I looked up today and I thought was kind of fitting because it was very artistic, and I love Emily Dickinson. Her poetry is really amazing. So she said that hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words, and never stops at all.
Oh,
and
that's beautiful.
I love that because it's true. It sings it without the words, and that's kind of what artistic expression is. I think when you don't have words anymore, you can express hope in that way. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much.
And don't forget to tune in to Hope with Lauren Kelley, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. You can find it on All Access Broadcasting, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all the above. And then you can also follow me on @LaurenKelley on Instagram, Twitter, The Lauren Kelley, @The Lauren Kelley or TheLaurenKelley.com. And then what about your Instagram and Twitter handle?
They're both at Darren Nefsey.
At Darren Nefsey. So give her a follow, watch the show on Hulu. And again, be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 6 p.m. here on All Access Broadcasting. Thanks so much. See you next time.
Thank you.